Welcome to Insights for Manufacturing, the podcast that supports the UK manufacturing sector. Hosted by Jeff Beecham, the manufacturer's recruiter. Hello and welcome to Insights for Manufacturing. I'm delighted to welcome my guest today, Gareth Jones, who is the Managing Director of In-Comm Training and Business Services. Welcome to the show, Gareth, and how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me on. Jeff, it's a pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. I know you've been really busy just recently with the launch of the new facility at Telford, which I'm sure we'll get to talk about in a second. But just to give the listeners and any of the viewers a bit of an overview, you know, we've got this backdrop of the shortfall of skills today. UK manufacturing requires a bigger take up of apprentices. There's been a drop recently. You know, we've got to meet the demands of future business needs as well as the current shortages as well. Apprenticeship take up levels, they're behind where they were pre-COVID, which is a bit worrying. There will be reasons behind that. We've got an aging workforce. You know, from my own perspective, I'm a firm believer in it. You know, it's absolutely crucial to capture and transfer that really rich knowledge, skills and experience, and ensure that it's passed on to the next generation. So for businesses, Gareth, what first of all, apprenticeships, what are the main benefits to investing in apprenticeships?
Yeah, so I mean, for any economy to be strong, it's got to be making products, and I think that has been proven time and time again. During the late 90s, early 90s, there was a massive focus around service sector within the UK, slight demise in manufacturing. However, that's been brought back to the forefront. We had a skills gap because of that, and the refocus away from apprenticeships and engineering manufacturing, which has been exacerbated post-COVID, by COVID.
Yeah.
When you've got 50-year-olds now retiring earlier because they don't want the stress of work life, which, you know, it's accentuated that skills gap. But apprenticeships, vocational learning is a valid route to that, into gaining a skilled workforce. Apprenticeships now in the stigma as well. It's not just new recruits into roles. There's developmental apprenticeships as well now. So, you know, we've got to be looking at retraining engineers into more technical roles, feeding in from the bottom with new talent. Yeah. But there's also a massive raft of opportunity in the operative roles as well, as we're starting to reshore some of the engineering manufacturing roles from abroad that had been exported previously. But we've got to be able to service that through skills and competency here in the engineering sector. So, apprenticeships are a vital way, but they're also, again, through In-Comm, we offer managed services. We also offer technical upskilling. So it's not just the apprenticeship route. There are other ways of developing yourselves and your employees to progress. Okay,
and I mean, I think the whole notion around, you know, the expense of external recruitment, for example, you know, a lot of businesses have this. It's almost like a leaking ship, isn't it? You know, there's you can get new talent into a business, but then you're always getting leavers, whether that's through retirement or people just move on. And if the skills are going out of the business, sometimes external recruitment isn't always the best answer. Now that's coming from a recruiter, but I'm a very strong advocate of actually upskilling and, you know, getting the most out of your existing workforce, whether that's a leadership team or, you know, skills on the shop floor. I think sometimes businesses can be a little bit too quick to, you know, to just want to bring in new people, you know, or if they've got, you know, areas where people aren't really progressing at the rate they want them to, or there's a bit of underperformance. I think some employees can fall foul of that impatience, if you like, of businesses not to invest in, you know, coaching and mentoring and getting their existing employees up to the, you know, the very best that they can possibly be. So that whole upskilling piece or cross training is really important. So it's good to know that In-Comm are actually providing those sort of services as well. That's really
Yeah, I
key.
mean, attrition rates in manufacturing just before the pandemic was sort of fluctuating between 11 and 12%.
Yeah,
Well, for any organisation, you've got to be looking at that and looking to your medium to long term strategy. I know you're going to backfill that skills gap in whatever section of the business that is.
yeah,
Again, that's been exasperated post COVID. Then, when we're looking at inflation, wage rises, and using recruiters such as yourselves, it becomes a rat race in terms of who can afford the best talent at that time.
yeah,
When really we're all trying to do more with less as well, which also generates a skills gap for the more technical roles.
yeah,
So, we've got to be attracting new talent into our sector and to be feeding it from the bottom of the funnel upwards, as well as moving people internally throughout the business to give people the opportunity to develop. That takes time, money, love, care, and attention. There's no two ways about that. It's not an overnight fix, but it is a strategy that we nearly all of us have got to play a key part in and adopt to see the success of British manufacturing.
absolutely. What would you say the main challenges, Gareth, currently with getting more youngsters into technical apprenticeships? What has there been this drop in take up?
So I mean, it's been declining since around 2016-17 apprenticeships, especially in the West Midlands Combined Authority and Shropshire regions. There's a couple of key focuses or elements to that, really. We've had the Trailblazer reforms on apprenticeships. So in engineering specifically, you used to gain a level 2 and a level 3 qualification, and they were both separate and apprenticeships. So you had two outputs for the one role, if you like. Where now mechatronics maintenance engineer, tool maker, it's one apprenticeship. So there is a bit of cloak and dagger there, if you like, on the fixture, on the numbers, on the figures. But then functional skills, if we look at that piece now, and literacy and numeracy, youngsters being able to attain that level 2 functional skills level. So there's more people, youngsters coming out of school with an A to C GCSE, so making it unachievable to be able to obtain those levels of maths, even though they're more than perfectly adequate level. Being able to access schools was difficult. It was difficult pre-pandemic. It was most certainly difficult in the pandemic. And then you've got this complex education system and different avenues. We're now bringing in T levels. You've got A levels. There's BTECs. There's apprenticeships. You've got degrees, degree apprenticeships. And some FE providers aren't always aligned in the advice and guidance that they give. So if you go into a full-time college course, for instance, and then come out and expect to get an apprenticeship, well, that blocks certain funding elements of an apprenticeship because of prior attainment.
Right, okay.
So that all of these little tweaks impact and start causing more barriers to engagement, especially. And as we know, apprenticeships are jobs from day one. So the more that we could do to offer advice and guidance to learners, potential learners, teachers, schools, communities, parents, the more that engineering manufacturing companies can open their doors and show them the magic of what's happening inside their organisations, the better. Because I think obviously a lot's been left down to local government organisations, training providers, and FE providers themselves, when really the magic is where it happens in the engineering manufacturing companies, and those are the people that should be showcasing what the industry actually looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were mentioning some of the different sort of parties or stakeholders involved in this whole process. I remember coming to meet you back towards the end of last year, and I actually wrote down something that you said, which was pretty profound. We were talking about getting new talent into the pipeline, getting more youngsters into apprenticeships, and your exact words at the time were, and this was the question that you posed, was how do we engage the disengaged? And I really love that, because it's not, I think a lot of us can blame the schools for not promoting apprenticeships and not promoting engineering and manufacturing. It's not just the schools. Local businesses have got to do their thing to really shout about it. parents, government, FE providers, media, the trade associations, people like me doing podcasts. There's so many different groups involved, and I suppose it's a whole education piece, isn't it? Because there's still that stigma around, why would I want my kids going into manufacturing? It's a dirty trade. Well, no, it's not. Some people see apprenticeships as something of a bygone age. I mean, I left school in 1986, and apprenticeships were sort of on the dip at that point. My brother, who was older than me, there were lots of apprenticeships, 7-8 years before me. But then we've had this other cycle of, as you say, we've been focused on the service sector for far too long, and there's that bit of a stigma out there that if you don't get good enough grades, you won't be able to go to university. You're not going to amount to anything. You'll have to go and work in a factory or do an apprenticeship. I mean, what a load of tosh that is.
Yeah.
Apprenticeships can be a perfectly good route to a job like yours. In a factory or in any sort of organization, you can become an owner of a business, a director, a manager, whatever it might be. And I think that apprenticeships, they're teaching you theoretical skills, but they're also teaching you the very, very valuable practical side of things, and you're getting that knowledge transferred from people in businesses that have been doing this work for years and years and years. I don't think there's any substitute for that, is there?
No, and I've used that term engage, the disengaged, for many years, as I have done around our vision and strategy, is to be able to bridge the competency gap.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all trying to achieve here, and that's what apprenticeships deliver, is true competency. And competency is made up of two things, and that's knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
That's what it really gives you. You've hit the nail on the head. It's the theatrical or the theory elements plus the practical application of that theory. And you're imparting that as you go through your learning journey.
Yeah.
Apprenticeships now entry level at level 2 in manufacturing, engineering, level 3. We now deliver a higher level 4s in HNCs and engineering, general engineering. We've got relationships with universities now where you can go into HNDs, honours degrees, and your roots there, the amount of business leaders that have come through an engineering manufacturing apprenticeship, or any apprenticeship for that matter, because they're bringing that competence throughout the business, is phenomenal. It should be showcased, but we want to be bigging it up, not putting it down. It's a credible route. It's more than a credible route.
Absolutely. So in terms of the individuals, so youngsters, coming out of school or thinking about what they might want to do when they leave school, how can we, sort of enlighten youngsters about the main benefits to them of taking up an apprenticeship? I mean, we've spoken about, you're getting that theoretical and practical experience, but it's a lot more than that, isn't it? It's a lot of I suppose mentoring in a business at an early stage. So what, if you were to sit in front of a group of youngsters, how would you sort of describe the opportunities and benefits to them?
So I think we've all got an ethical and moral obligation, really, to educate people in the opportunities that are available to them, so they can make an educated choice on their career progression or career choice or career route.
Yep.
That may be somebody that's already in existing employment that wants to look at other opportunities, or youngsters that are taking their steps into the first world of work. We all know the cliche, should we say, around apprenticeships: earn while you learn, don't go to university, the additional costs, etc. But money aside, I've already outlined the competency piece to them. If we want to look at this fantastic sector we're working, the amount of job roles there are available in engineering, manufacturing, there's nothing you can do. Anything, if you're artistic, you're an entrepreneur, you've got product design, research and development. If you're good with your hands, you can actually be making product on manual machining. if you're technically software competent, there's computer-aided design, CAD/CAM, programming, and the CNC. So, and then you look at either sales and marketing, sales in its entirety, support staff, so business support roles as well.
Yeah.
The subliminal roles and responsibilities within an engineering organisation, it's all there. You can be anything that you want to be.
Yeah.
It's just taking that to market, really. As I said, it's got to be a tri-party agreement, really. It's got to be establishments such as ourselves. We spend a lot of money annually in terms of resource trying to showcase what we do. And that's the good of the sector. We know that we're not going to win by bringing everybody into the sector, but STEM activities, taster days, engineer your future for people who are not in employment and want to have 3 days of free training just to experience what the engineering manufacturing world looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different initiatives. We've even come up with pieces now where we've got simple guide to apprenticeships, because an apprenticeship in itself can be quite complex.
Yeah.
But then we've also created a document on how to recruit talent into your business. So we've tried to put a package together that helps SMEs and micro business is how to make themselves look attractive, because they are, to the local community. Because now it's not about just winning sales, it's about winning people.
Yeah.
And that's got to be an attractive piece.
Absolutely. Do you think the government are giving enough support? I mean, what does UK government and the education department need to do to make it easier for businesses and individuals to access apprenticeships?
Yeah, again, I'm going back. We've all got a responsibility to play. We all know the situation that we're in terms of an economy at the moment, don't we? And
yeah,
know that money doesn't grow on trees, so where it gets spent, it's going to have to be effective. So I think really, there could be more aligned, with devolution through the local enterprise partnerships was a great initiative to try and get funded money to where it's needed most, and who's better to sort of know that than the people working and living in those regions.
Yeah.
But the other element that it has created in some aspects is dysfunctional learning journeys, and what is funded in one region may not be funded in another, and that may be down to a local need. However, it does cause confusion within the employers. So the one thing that government can do is get an aligned strategy, really. I know apprenticeships are written in law, but you're talking about adult education budget, and we want to, that needs to be spent on upskilling adults that are outside of an apprenticeship. Before, it could have been through an NVQ, National Vocational Qualification.
Yep.
That should be offered through any robust accredited qualification, really, that will add value to an individual to get them into the economy and provided.
Yeah, absolutely. So what technical disciplines are you sort of mainly focusing on at In-Comm then? You've got a wide range of, machining and fabrication, and what sort of pathways are you covering?
Okay, so at the moment we've got about 45 apprenticeship pathways.
Okay.
That covers everything from engineering, manufacturing, leadership and management up to level 6. Continuous improvement up to master black belt. We touch on quality improvement, and then the business support side of things. But in terms of engineering, manufacturing, you've got 5 or 6 key pathways, if you like.
Yeah.
So you've got machinist, tool making, mechatronics, technical support, and product design. So those would be probably the most used.
Yeah.
But outside of that as well, In-Comm is around creating strategic partnerships with industry to provide industry level training. Here, as you can see behind me right now, in November, in partnership with Brandower, we opened a commercial tool room here.
Yep.
That's a UK's first. So we are now upskilling existing engineers in tool making whilst they're working from cradle to grave, pardon the expression.
Yep.
On a live tool, being from design to being made and tried out in a press. So, that's a first for UK engineering manufacturing training. There's nobody else delivering training on live commercial tooling.
How did that come about?
Okay, so there's been a project for a number of years. We've tried to focus around the tooling sector, and post-pandemic, there was two needs really. Myself and Rowan Crozier, who's the CEO of Brandauer, they had a need in terms of themselves. So their tooling, commercial tooling arm was growing,
Yeah.
and needed to sort of separate that resource from their own tool making and maintenance for their own press tools.
Yeah.
And also, we were already underway developing the curriculum for this toolmakers course and the level 6 tool process design, which was supported by the Confederation of British Metal Forming. So when myself and Rowan spoke about it, it was just a match made in heaven, really. Brandauer had the need, In-Comm had the need, and we're very fortunate that you've got Rowan Crozier and Stuart Berry from Brandauer that have put their intellectual property on the line because they understand that tool making is a dying trade in the UK.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, you lose it. So they've actually been willing to put their intellectual property into this, which we've been drawing out of them now for at least the last 12 months and putting it down into a curriculum.
Sure.
To feedback. And I have to say the first cohort kicks off on the 20th of March. And that's about reskilling. So we're not losing engineers out of the sector. We're reskilling existing engineers how to become tool makers. So that's not an apprenticeship, that's a professional program initially.
And these are people that haven't been involved in tool making previously. They've been working in the factory, but not in the tool room. Is that right? So it's a new...
Yeah. There could have been maintenance engineers, there could have been machinists, etc. But then also, and this is where sort of apprenticeship in the tool and die sector or the pathway standard has maybe failed industry in some way, because all the onus has been on the employer to deliver the specialist tool making element.
Yeah.
So we've got individuals that have come out of a tool making apprenticeship, but have only maybe machined or wired or not designed, sorry, or measured within a tool room. Not actually where the magic happens of putting all those parts together, putting it in the press and trying it out and getting the press to work really efficiently. So that's the piece that we're teaching. So we will be taking them through the process from design, the manufacturing process, bill of material, but then they'll be going through hard machining, soft machining, EDM, CMM, and then onto the bench to actually complete the tool and to try out in the press. So,
Brilliant.
Very, very interesting model, and we look forward to taking that properly to market and giving the impact that the economy deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, the UK manufacturing engineering sector has needed something like this for tool making for forever. I mean, I came into recruitment in 1999, and it was a real struggle to find tool makers back then, and most of them were sort of approaching retirement age at that point, or they were certainly, in their late 40s, 50s. There wasn't any, new sort of talent coming through. So this is absolutely, music to my ears. What a great idea. And hats off to to Rowan and the team over at Brandauer for the collaboration with you. So we'll look forward to following that and hearing about the successes of cohort number 1 over the coming months. That's brilliant.
It's an exciting partnership. We hope it delivers everything it should do for British manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of In-Comm as an organisation then, Gareth, what's the philosophy at In-Comm? What makes you a training and business services provider of choice?
Okay, so In-Comm training and In-Comm training services was established in its current form in 1982. We've got a long heritage. I think it's the relationships that we've built with organisations over a period of years. Like any relationship, you're going to go through difficult times, but it's actually what you do together to be able to get through that.
Yeah.
The quality of the individuals that are delivering the training, we only employ industry experienced professionals, and then we actually take the time to nurture, educate, and develop those to becoming competent assessors, coaches, trainers.
Yeah.
So if somebody's delivering a mechatronics pathway, they will have been a maintenance engineer in their former industrial life. So that's a massive advantage. the equipment, the world class equipment that we've got in our facilities now. We've partnered with a number of machine tool companies to be able to gain access and purchase that equipment. But we've been very fortunate during the model to be able to use those engineers for technical support, upskilling our staff, but also connecting them with industry.
Yes.
And you know, we try to stay close and really understand our clients. You know, we really want to understand the barriers to engagement, the needs. So we're a very dynamic organisation in terms of how we will deliver things, how we will deliver certain programs to get the best output for the learner and industry alike. So when you start building up these different strands really to make us unique from other providers, then that's the belief why we feel that we exist in the form that we do.
Yeah, brilliant. And on the training that you provide, well, whether that's let's look at, so you've got the apprenticeships, then you've got the other sort of, you know, the leadership management training and those sort of things.
Yeah.
In terms of the leadership and management, how is that delivered? Is that online or in person? How's that sort of facilitated?
Yeah, so the three things that In-Comm deliver: apprenticeships, technical upskilling courses, and managed services. So managed services is a consultancy type offering across health and safety, quality, and also skills auditing. But it's not consultancy where we'll come in, do an audit and leave you with the task to do. We actually handhold our clients on implementing and installing systems, processes, and training.
Yep.
So that's one niche. Our courses, obviously, throughout the pandemic, we had to very quickly, like most people, turn to digital. And now we've got more of a blended learning, if you like. Some is done virtually, but we're a face-to-face organisation. We want to get to know people, understand people, see the people's whites of their eyes. And, you know, there's been a bit of press lately in the BBC coming from the Department for Education about provision being solely digital.
Right.
And that's not currently a pathway that we want to take, where everything is solely digital. So we do work face to face with our clients, but as I say, when you've got clients dotted all around the UK, whilst we deliver some virtually, we ensure that they come together at least once a quarter.
Yep.
Face to face meetings and talk sessions. So outside of engineering manufacturing, as I've already alluded to, we deliver continuous improvement, quality compliance, safety compliance, business support, leadership and management. And each one of those sectors has got industry professionals inside the business.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. And you know, we're just coming off the back of the launch of the new Telford facility. What else have you got planned for this year then? Anything in the pipeline? Any new services? You know, training courses? What's up your sleeve that you can talk about?
So, yeah, we've just formally launched In-Comm Telford.
Yep.
That project was originally set up and hosted in Bridgnorth by an industrial partnership. So that was Granger and Worrell Classic Motor Cars and Salop Design and Engineering.
Yep.
But during the pandemic, unfortunately, they had to focus on their own businesses. So that was a project that In-Comm took on and moved it to Telford. But again, we have to give special thanks to those organisations, because without those there and the investment in time, money, love, sweat and tears, it would never have been born. So we have got a fantastic offering in Shropshire now. And we've also got Shrewsbury in partnership with Salop Design and Engineering. And what we've got there is we've created a niche here for UK manufacturing in the tool room, and we're going to market now and opening our doors through the Skills Steering Group over in Telford to offer something niche for UK manufacturing there. So whilst we've got tooling here, we have a call to arms out, should we say, currently, to say, if you feel your sector has got a skill shortage and you want to discuss that and see how we can collaborate to do something about it, we're an open door. So on the 20th of March, we kick off the first cohort of the 20-week toolmaker course. In September of this year, we deliver and start delivering the level 6, which is a degree level apprenticeship in tool process design.
Yep.
In April of this year, we are also going to launch a partnership with a first-tier supplier to the automotive sector on a training academy there. We've got the In-Comm Awards on the 7th of July, our annual awards, which we have a turnout of 400 strong now to celebrate industry and the learners.
Yep.
And then the rest, you're going to have to watch this space. The rest is still under development. But after the last few years, I think taking the bold steps to invest in developing a facility during the midst of the pandemic. And I give credit to all of our employees that stuck with us for the vision on delivering that, because it was a dark time when none of us really knew what the world was going to look like when we came out the other end.
Yeah.
We need a period of stability and allow the business to breathe a little, really, before we go again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've achieved so much, these new facilities and, as you say, the collaboration with industry. It's all fantastic and, a great platform to go out shouting to, the sector, but also to try and get more youngsters into apprenticeships and training. So you're all doing fantastic work. I was, very, very pleased to have came over and had a tour with you at Aldridge back in, I think it was the end of November last year. And I have to say, what a great facility, and I'm sure the other two are exactly the same. Yeah, if I was a parent with a youngster looking to do an apprenticeship, I'd have no issues sending them along to In-Comm. Very, very, very professional. Yeah,
that's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much, Jeff.
No, you're very welcome. So, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today, Gareth. I mean, that pretty much wraps up our discussion today. So, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. Thanks again to Gareth Jones from In-Comm Training and Business Services. Thank you for listening. Look out for the next episode of Insights for Manufacturing. See you next time, and bye-bye.